That would be me, Danny Bonaduce, life coach. Love to take your calls at 1-800-252-1025. We're going to be getting to them right now, but I also want to let you know that you can get through to us with email, lifecoach@kzok.com. Life Coach brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Let us talk to Alexis in Gig Harbor. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Does anybody call you Lexi?
Yeah, they do.
I had a girlfriend named Alexis, and are you crazy?
No.
Okay,
I'm
she was a lunatic, man. Just thought I'd pass that along. So what's up, Alexis? What can I do for you?
Well, I have a dilemma. I have a 15-year-old son who's really a great kid and student athlete, and he came to me yesterday and shared with me a photograph that had been texted to him from another teammate,
right?
Of a friend of mine's daughter, a classmate of his, naked.
Naked, full blown, 100% naked.
100%.
All right, now let me ask you something here. Are you like me? If you start going back in the olden days, are you thinking to yourself, well, this is not the worst problem it can be. He's not on drugs. It's not a picture of a scantily clad poodle. It's a classmate. Did you think, this is not the end of the world?
I did.
Good. Well, now you got to work on that because I had, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking, it's not the end of the world. For God's sakes, relax. Wait a second. It's kind of the end of the world. You have to do something about this. It doesn't say anything about your son. As a matter of fact, he came to his mom with a picture of this naked girl that couldn't have been easy for him. So you got to give him some tickets right there. He came to mom. That's exactly what you're supposed to. How many times, Alexis, have you told your son, if you ever have a problem, come to me?
Oh, it's like a daily conversation.
And it should be a daily conversation. He did exactly that. He came to the reason it's the end of the world. And, there's a lot of hyperbole going on here. But imagine for any reason he leaves that phone somewhere, somebody finds it, whatever they do, you can pick your own scenario in your mind. For whatever reason, because it's been lost and gets returned to the cops, guess what your son has?
Right.
Child pornography. That's exactly what he has. He can't have a picture of a naked 15-year-old, even though he had no responsibility for it. They're not going to care. In the beginning, he's not going to go to prison for the left or right. He's not going to sign up or anything like that. But they're going to wreck his day about it before they say, oh, God, now I understand. It's some conversation that you don't want. So here's what the first thing your son's going to do is talk to his friend and say, hey, I didn't realize that. I could get in real life trouble over this. You're my pal. Don't do that anymore. And see if that doesn't work out for her. Because nobody's thinking about the down the road ramifications of this except your life coach, Danny. That could be a big thing. But then if that continues, you can block this guy, can't you? I'm not the technological king, but can't you block this kid?
You can. And you know what, Danny? My bigger concern is that I know the girl, and I know her parents, and I know her brother, and so does my son, and I that's my real dilemma.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because that was the next place we were going. This is a real live 15-year-old, and she's naked. Now, I don't know how she decided this was a great idea that she's going to take her clothes off and take this picture, but it's not important. These kind of things, and at 15, this is really a possibility. What happens a million years from now? She decides to run for office. You don't know that thing's going to show up. Your son is not the only one with a copy of that. There's 100 copies of this. This could change this young lady's life forever. Here's the thing you got to do is you got to absolutely go to the kid's parents and say, okay, and tell them what I told you. Like, boys will be boys, whatever it is that you think, but he could go to jail on child pornography. Stop doing this, and they'll run for the hills. You start hearing those words, you're going to run. They're out of the picture. They're out of the texting business. But let's worry about the girl. What is it your inclination to do about the girl?
Well, I know her mom and dad, and I just feel like I want to talk to her mama and say, I'm worried about your daughter, and I just want you to be aware that this is going on. And
I am loath to do this, Alexis. I am loath to do this. I want to tell you to talk to the daughter, make sure it never happens again, but your opinion is the best one here. As much as you'll hate, you kind of being the narc on this one, turning the daughter in, all that's going to happen is if I am right, and I always am, if I'm right and one of these other pictures shows up, because who knows if that's the only one, everybody's got a copy, and they find out, and she comes to you, and it finds out that you talk to her daughter, there's going to be hell to pay. She will say this and only this. I'll talk to my daughter. I'll tell my daughters what's right. And you've lost a friend. You're in trouble there. So all your inclinations are absolutely right. Talk to the mom and dad and say, hey, I didn't know what to do. And, paint it as broadly as you can. I didn't know what to do. I was going to talk to your daughter, but I thought you'd need to know. I don't want to know. It's a need to know. All your inclinations are correct. And even if it comes available to talk to the daughter first, don't do it. You're going to get in trouble that the mother says you should have come to me. So don't give your son too much of a hard time, especially since he came to you. Block the kid if you need to. Tell your son to tell this kid to not do it anymore. It's a real trouble. And he should have had a little thought like you do about the girl. It's a big deal. And then you need to go to that girl's mom and dad. You're a great kid, Alexis. Thank you very much for the phone call.
800-252-1025. Call that number now if you've got a question for Danny Bonaduce, life coach. Any kind of problem you have, he can help you. Just make that call, 800-252-1025. Scott in Sumner is up next.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, I have a 24-year-old son, and after work with some of his buddies, they went to the bar and had one beer, and he was driving, and he had one hit of marijuana. And he was driving home. He was tailgating one of the other guys from work, and he got pulled over. And they gave him a DUI, even though he blew like a 0.02, and they did blood, and it was under the legal limit. But can they combine the two to make it a DUI?
No, they cannot. No, I mean, if he had pot, because you can't figure out when somebody ingested the marijuana, because they'll never know, and it stays with you longer than anything. Marijuana, they say, will stay with you a month. I know for a fact it can stay with you a year or more. All other drugs, they store in other parts of your body, in the liver for the most part, but marijuana stores in your body fat, and it can be there forever. So they can't combine things. But here's the thing, there is a legal limit for alcohol, and your son was under it, correct?
Correct.
So they're only giving him a DUI for the marijuana.
No, they're saying it's for both.
Well, but they can't because he was under the limit. No, I don't know if you've been informed correctly or they got nervous. If you hold me, as much as I hate this Justin Bieber kid, I'm telling you right now, these cops are falling apart. The cops might have realized they're falling apart. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to scare you so you just say, okay, I'm going to do whatever it is you think we should do. You should fight it. You should absolutely fight it. And here's the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to ask, when was the last time that gun was calibrated? They took blood. You're going to want to know when all of those guns and all the equipment was calibrated, because they absolutely cannot do that. I think they'll drop it right then and there. They will never let it get in front of a judge with a simple and faulty resemblance of that, or whatever it is, a simple and faulty examination. Your son does not have a DUI. There's a couple of people in blue suits that thinks he has a DUI, and they should drop it before you get there and really fight, Scott, because you're going to win. Thank you much for the phone call. I appreciate it. Do we have time for an email?
We do. 800-252-1025. That's the number to call if you've got a question for the life coach, or email lifecoach@KZOK.com. And remember, you can be anonymous if you need to.
Yeah.
Change your name. Lie about your name. We've got an email here from AG in Seattle. We've been married 10 years. After my husband's major illness, he seems to take me for granted. I do all the chores, the bills, the cooking, etc. He works part-time and the rest of the day watches TV and ignores me. He tells me he loves me when pressed, but he doesn't make me feel loved. When I mention this, he rolls his eyes and calls me a diva. He jokes about divorcing me and says if I suffer a major illness, he'll find a new partner and visit me once in a while. I love him. I want to be with him forever, but I feel hurt, neglected, and alone. What should I do?
Is that Amy? I'm dead serious. This is always, I thought we were happy. Every now and again, she'll tell me something, and then she'll go, are you listening to me? And I'll stare right at the TV and go, uh-huh. She hates that.
What's her middle
I'm sorry,
name?
Dear, I love you.
What's Amy's middle name?
See, thanks for throwing that in there. I don't know what her middle name is.
Oops.
I'm going with Renee on this, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I'm
Okay,
right.
so no, this must not be her. This is a different woman who has the same exact issues your wife does.
All right. See, the illness, I'm going to have to go with me. It's the drug and alcohol dependence. And then the sitting in front of the TV and ignoring people, we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
We're going to end up in therapy or something, for God's sakes. Now,
So what's the solution here as a life coach yourself?
all right, let's see. Physician, heal thyself. I will. I'm not sure if your husband is feeling scared because his frailty. He got sick and you had to take care of him. And now I think he's trying to show you, and it's a stupid thing. And you know what? I was going to say you're right. She actually didn't tell me anything. I'm just getting nervous. But maybe, in fact, he can live without you, but he doesn't want to. This is a thing you're going to want to talk to him about kind of seriously. Turn off the TV, and you'll get his attention. If he's the bum I am, you turn off that TV. And nobody's allowed to touch the remote but me, and I'm guessing your husband is the exact same way. You turn off that TV and say, hey, I need 5 minutes of your time to discuss something that's important. And here's what I'm guessing. Or it's my theory, really, that he loves you very, very, very much. He doesn't know how to show you. He doesn't know how to pay you back for taking care of him. And that if you take a couple minutes and you let him know, we're only going to, if he's a grown man, here's the deal on divorce and things like that. And I don't mean that any wives are replaceable, but just for a person in the house, we just replace you. I could never get a better deal. And I promise you that to be true. I'd be single for a second, then I'd go, I need a girl in the house. Your husband would be single for a while, and then he'd meet a girl, and there'd be a new one of you. You're a better one, and he absolutely knows that. You need to discuss that with him, that things have to change around here right now because he's already got the best wife he's ever going to get. I can tell, everybody can tell, and he's going to lose on this. So you need 5 minutes, no TV. You tell him how you feel, and give him a second to tell you how he absolutely feels. Guys are idiots. I know that from experience. Give him a chance to tell you how much he loves you and that he appreciates that you took care of him.
800-252-1025. That's the number for Danny Bonaduce, life coach, or email lifecoach@kzok.com. Vincent Tacoma sent an email. I recently got arrested on a lame charge, but it will get me fired from my job and could carry some jail time. Police say if I become a CI and help buy some drugs for them, they can make it go away. They just need the controlled buys for a search warrant, and I would never have to appear in court to testify. No one would know. Should I do it to keep myself out of jail and make sure I can keep working to support my kids and keep our health insurance?
Well, my first answer is absolutely yes. That's a no-brainer, really. But this has hair all over it. A boss of mine used to say that. Oh, my God, I don't want any parts that has hair all over it. Here's the thing. Why wouldn't you have to appear in court? Because they're going to videotape that. Check it out. Check out your rights. That guy that's in court that you said he gave you marijuana, he has the legal right to face his accuser. There's no way you don't get to face your accuser. You could be in the witness protection program, but you still have to be in a silhouette and say it. So you don't get to not go to court. I don't like the looks of this at all. But if you really got busted for something, I'm going to take this at its face value, even though it's crap. If you got busted for something you think could send you to jail, and that's a pretty big deal. People don't just go to jail anymore. They have to work hard at it. Get you fired from your job, and you have a chance to make a deal against a bunch of drug addicts, and they're not going to come to, they're not kind of, they're not in the Colombian cartel, and they're going to shoot you to death. I almost always say, take the deal. In this case, my first reaction is there's something wrong with this deal. My second reaction, I'm going to take it like you took it and say, take the deal. That's the best thing you can do, and it'll save you from going to jail. Hey, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach Day. We do it every weekday at 7:30. Hey, Life Coach was brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.